Begin. Hello and welcome to Hotshots. In this brand new series, I shine a light on one particular player, showing their history and career highlights. We're currently going through players who have qualified through the Q Tour, and this time we're talking about the Hitman, Michael Holt. But before we start, a big thank you to Q Tracker. I wouldn't have nearly the amount of information I do for this episode, or anything on my channel, but for their incredible historical work. Michael Holt was born on the 7th of August 1978 in Nottingham. He first turned professional in 1996, and after losing his first 5 matches as a professional, he has shown great promise, reaching the last 96 of the World Championship, winning 6 matches before going down 10-5 to Scotland's Jamie Burnett. Yes, this was when he had to win 6 matches to not qualify for something, as well as reaching the last 192 on 3 further occasions. That, in case you're wondering, required just winning 4 matches for the honour. He would depart from tour after that season, but in 1997 would reach the European Under-19 Championship final, losing 6-3 to Irishman Thomas Dowling, and then he re-qualified for tour. While there's no source stating so, it was likely facilitated for his performances on the UK tour, where he reached the final of the first event, losing his side of 6-5 to Paul McPhillips of Scotland. And this time he was here to stay, as he was about to make a big impact. In the 1998 UK Championship live from Bournemouth, newly hosting the event after 2 decades in Preston, shout out to my dad's birthplace, Preston that is, not Bournemouth. He defeated Patrick Delsem of Belgium and Nick Walker of England before making headlines in the last 96 with a 5-0 win over former world champion and man with the most famous glasses this side of Edna Everage, Dennis Taylor. His run would not end there, though, as world number 193 Holt, I think that ranking's low spare thought for Marco Fu, reaching the last 32 as world number 377, would meet the world number 8 former Masters champion, twice world semi-finalist, and inexplicable snooker Twitter heartthrob, Al McManus. After going 4-2 behind, produced a series of impressive 50-plus breaks to topple the Angles 9-7 and book a meeting with Graham Dott in the last 32. Here, he lost 3-1 to an 87 break and then proceeded to win the next 9 frames, winning frame 7 on the block and then making breaks 118, 88, and 81 in the last 3 frames. Graham Dott in those 3 frames scored 1 point. Yeah. I think this whole lad's going places, you know. Sadly, that's where the run would end. He was unable to overcome an all-poor start, going 6-1 behind against Matthew Couch before eventually going down 9-5. He then proceeded to the last 30 of the China International, losing 5-0 to Ken Doherty, and the last 16 of the British Open, defeating Dennis Taylor in the last 96, again, defeating James Vassano of Thailand in the decider, and then taking first frame against eventual world champion that season, John Higgins, before being punished with 41 points in the next 4 frames. Play the big boys, they don't play nice. At Worlds, he had Paul White's 4-1, but then had, I'm not quite sure you can call it an implosion, losing 9 of the next 13 frames to go down 10-8. The next season would start with him failing to win a single match outside of Merseyside Professional until the UK Championship, where he beat Alan McManus in the last 64, again, 9-8, and then beat world number 20 Malta's Tony Drago 9-1. Well, if you want an inconsistent player, he's a good one. In the last 16 for a second year in a row, he won 7 frames in a row to beat Lee Walker 9-4, but was derailed by John Higgins in the last 8, losing 9-6 from 6 each. He then reached the last 32 of Malta Grand Prix 5-3 to Matthew Stevens, and I promise you, when I do a Hot Shots episode for Matthew, it'll be about 5 hours long. I'll just talk about how much I enjoy watching him play and hearing interviews from him and everything else. And then proceeded to lose every match for the rest of the season, culminating in a 10-8 defeat at World Championship qualifiers again, this time to Robert Milkins. No cider jokes, please, but overdone. 2201 was a quieter season for Michael. He reached the last 32 of 3 different events, and was a frame away from a fourth last 32 Scottish Open, losing to Monraj Pal. He won just a single frame in those last 32s, although he did get within one match of World Championship for the first time, losing 10-6 to Billy Snadden of Scotland. The next season was pretty similar, reaching two last 32s and losing 10-6 in the last round World Championship qualifying again, this time to the Mad Australia Quinton Han. I will tell his story at some point, and you will laugh your feet off. In 2002-2003 season, though, he returned to form, reaching the last 16 event for the first time in nearly 3 years at the LG Cup, winning 4 frames on spin to beat Drew Henry 5-3 from 3-1 down, and then won a tie-decider over Quinton Han in the last 32, before getting a 3-1 lead against Ronnie O'Sullivan in the last 16 to lose 5-3. He'd also reached that stage in the Welsh Open, seeing off world champion Peter Evans in the last 32, before losing 5-3 again in the last 16, retiring to Rod Lawler. His World Championship run would end where it began, though, in the last 64 against Preston's Sean Story. 203-4, and Michael again had a deep run in the LG Cup, defeating 7-time world champion and many-time unbeaten world smiling champion Stephen Hendry 5-3 in the last 32, despite not mustering a single 50 break in the entire match, and then saw Marco Furner decided to reach a second-ranking quarter-final. Sadly, he lost 5-3 there to Ken Doherty. This was set the scene for an underwhelming season, reaching 3 last 32s without winning any, and in the World Championship, he is a frame away from reaching a maiden crucible berth, but collapsed from 9-5 up to lose 10-9 to Sheriff of Pottingham, Anthony Hamilton. I'm sure losing leads is not going to become a theme at all. 245 BC, Holt took his next big step, ranked inside the top 32 for the first time at number 29, meant he would enter events a round later, and he responded by having a very quiet season for the most part. Reached last 16th British Open, losing 5-1 to that year's world champion Sean Murphy, but then wouldn't reach beyond round of 32 again until Worlds, where he overcame Stuart Bingham 10-8, having never been ahead until 7-6, and then on his Crucible debut, defeated the legendary Paul Hunter 10-8 in a match which is sadly better remembered these days for being the lead to cure his first match since being diagnosed with cancer, which would take his life around 16 months later, 5 days for his 28th birthday. In the last 16, Holt would face 6-time world champion Steve Davis and led him 8-2 before losing 11 of the next 13 frames to go down 13-10. But he did reach the last 16 at the Crucible, so onwards and upwards. Bonus fact time now. So for anyone who isn't familiar, one way snooker players raise money to travel across the world for events is with sponsorship. So you see the little logos they have on waistcoat, those patches. That's because they allow companies or individuals to pay them money to sponsor their waistcoats, a little logo patch to advertise the business. So for a 205 World Championship, and I've read this story on multiple places, so if this is incorrect, I'd love Michael to correct me. For 205 World Championship, Michael earned his sponsorship a slightly different way, auctioning off the sponsorship slot on eBay. This is not a joke. He auctioned it off. The winning bid was by a Nottingham nightclub called Cabaret. Sadly, there is no information how much it cost them. 205-6 started well, with the Grand Prix formerly known as, you guessed it, the LG Cup. He reached the quarterfinals, defeating Liverpudlian Rod Lawler, then Newport's Darren Morgan, and Bristol's Andrew Norman, while going down the quarters 5-1 to Kent Curious by Hawkins. This was also the first time in 4 years that Holt had reached at least the last 16 of the event, but it meant that he was 0-3 in ranking at quarterfinals. Now, if you know anything about Michael, this will become a little bit of a theme throughout his career, being snooker's very own permanent bridesmaid, if you will. Very capable, but never quite taking the next step to be one of the true titans of the game. Anyway, the rest of the scene was far less eventful. 3 more last 32s, a last 16. He reached the last 32 of the UK Championship, which I bring up because in his last 48 match with Ricky Waldon, he trailed 3-0 and did not lead any points until he won 10-9. Despite the fact he made a 1-4-4 break in that match, which remains his highest competition break, although he did match it in German Masters in 2013. In World Championship qualifying, he bulldogged Stuart Petman 10-2, winning the first 6 frames and the last 4. No prizes guessing which frames Petman won. No, really, I'm not going to congratulate you for it. It's not something to be proud of. I've told you the answer. Anyway, he couldn't beat his votes to 205, losing 10-8 to Peter Ebdon for Crucible. Ebdon eventually lost in the final. At this point, Hotshots is very much on the rise, a career-high ranking of 21, multiple-time Crucible qualifier, and multiple-time ranking and quarter finalist. Little did he know he would not be ranked that high in the world again until 2013. At least I'm presuming he didn't know. Michael might be really good at snooker, but I don't have him down as a soothsayer. Lots of people in the comments telling me what a soothsayer actually is. The next team started atrociously for him as he dumped out of the Grand Prix in the group stage. Jamie Cope cleared up against him from 54-1 behind in the third frame, and then made a 1-4-7 in the next frame to win 3-1. This result would prove rather important as it meant Holt went out to Cope on head-to-head, despite having a frame difference where it was 2 better. He'd then do really well at the UK Championship and... So it's reading a script for Peter Ebdon. Not that interesting, honestly. It takes 5 minutes to get to 12 words. That's reference to people. So what actually happened was he rolled up the UK Championship qualifying and promptly lost 9-0 to Scott McKenzie, a Scottish player ranked 37 places below in the world. He then seen a single last 16 appearance, losing a decisive marking in Malta Cup, having beaten Ronnie in the last round. At Worlds, he trailed 7-6 to Adrian Gunnell in the last qualifier, before winning the last 4 frames to win 10-7. But at the Crucible, after leading John Higgins, the eventual champion, 3-2, he lost 8 of the next 9 frames to depart 10-4. Michael Holt imploding from winning positions. Surely that's never happened before. 207 to 8 was even worse, finishing third in his Grand Prix group again, making 2 last 32 appearances all season, the term ending with him failing to reach the Crucible for the first time in 3 years, after losing 10-6 to the Irish veteran Michael Judge. This also cost him a place in the top 32, although he would return before long as 289 is a much improved season, reaching the last 16 of the Bahrain Championship, where he led Rob Milkins 4-0 before losing 5-4. That's his most notable result, though. At Worlds, he made 127 break inside against Mark Davis, and then came 7-4 down to win 10-7 to beat Dominic Dale, everyone's favourite Welshman called Dominic, who's neither called Dominic nor from Wales. Look it up, I promise. At the Crucible, he led John Higgins 4-2 before, you guessed it, losing 8 of the next 9 frames. Oh, this would mark the 3rd time he lost an eventual finalist in round 1 at the Crucible. Higgins would go on to lift the 3rd world title that year. His 2nd time in 3 years that Higgins lifted the trophy, having beaten Michael Holt in round 1 from behind. But he did reach the Crucible again, so onwards and upwards. 209-10, Holt reached 3 last 32s but no further. He did qualify for the UK's and Worlds this time, beating Dominic Dale 9-4 in the last 48 of the UK, which must have been a bit of disappointment considering he lost 7-0, before being beaten out at venue stages 9-6 by Steve Maguire. And at the World Qualifiers, he beat Irishman David Morris 10-6, but then lost 10-4 to Joe Perry. And then 210-11 happened, and yeah, the bubble burst. 5 wins in ranking events all season. a quarterfinal in PTC finals, but not Lost Hells. Lost in UK qualifiers to world number 70 Patrick Wallace. At Worlds, he trailed 7-3 in the last 64 to world number 74 James McBain before coming to win 10-8. Wasn't a such comeback in the next round though, going 5-2 down to Dominic Dale and eventually losing 10-6. He ended up seeing 45th, dropping 21 points in rankings in the season. Tournament round 12 didn't have much to talk about, with a trio of last 16s, but a time frame loss to a young Luca Patel in world qualifying cost him a place back in top 32, ending at 33 in the world. Tournament 12 to 13, so reached the UK venue stage, falling 6-3 to John Higgins, getting fed with his name yet. And first quarter in 2 years of German Masters, where he lost 5-2 to Ali Carter. Having been 2-0 up. Yeah. At Worlds, he beat Mark Joyce 10-7 to qualify, which was slightly concerning, considering he was 8-0 up. Crucially put in absolutely cracking forms against Ricky Morgan. When I say cracking, what means he lost 10-1. Look, I was impressed if no one else was. He would rejoin top 32, wrote 26, so onwards and upwards. 213-14, he really refound something. At Shanghai Masters, he reached the first ranking semi-final of his 17-year career, beating future Jamaican Roy McLeod, future world champion Judd Trump, future ranking winner Martin Gould, after Gould missed the final blue the decider, and future blonde Kyle Wilson, before losing 6-3 to Zhao Guodong in semi-finals. Boy, Zhao really should have done more by now in his career. At Worlds, he beat James Jones 10-6, and then the Crucible led Mark Allen 4-3 before losing 7 in a row to go down 10-4. Are you getting sick of this yet? I'm pretty sure Michael was. For those of you keeping track, that's now one win in 7 appearances at Crucible for Michael. But still onwards and upwards. Before we've seen he had a cool last 16s and reached another ranking quarter final at the Players Championship, losing to our old friend Joe Perry. At Worlds, he won 2 matches for a loss of 5 frames, 10-3 against Sidney Wilson, and 10-2 against the actual world's smiliest person, Nopan Sankam. But in the last qualifying round, he led Robbie Williams 5-4 before, say it with me, losing 6 frames in a row, going down 10-5. And condemning the world to Williams' absolute snooze fest at the Crucible against Ricky Walden. And I've still never given BBC for Gingles that, instead of Michael Weiss and Sam Baird on television. That was a much better match than I had to go on iPlayer for it. And in 15-16, he had no less than 5 last 16s in ranking events. The Australian Open, the Shanghai Masters, the German Masters, the World Grand Prix, where he beat Ronnie 4-3 in the last 32. And finally at Worlds, he beat Michael Wilde 10-6, having led 9-0. Then Peter Lyons 10-7, having trailed 7-6. And then Mark King 10-8, having led 8-4. Nothing's a normal view, Michael, is it? To reach the Crucible, we won a match for the first time in 11 years, where he beat Dark Horse for the title Neil Robertson 10-6 in a match that was strangely normal. No big collapses, no huge drama, just Michael Holt playing very good snooker. I wonder if that would ever work for a career. Before he lost 13-8 to Mark Williams, having led 4-1. Does that count as a collapse, really? Tell me in comments, and while you're there, you might as well subscribe because YouTube likes it when people click on these big subscribe buttons. And in return, you'll get my eternal gratitude, my thanks, and to know when the next episode of Hotshots or anything else on this channel is released. I'll leave you to decide if any of those are actually worth it. The following season, Michael reached his first ranking event final, only 20 years after turning professional. At Vegan Masters, he beat Scott Donaldson Mark Selby, Ian Burns, Stuart Bingham, Anthony McGill, and Mark Williams on the final brown. That's eventually a crucial mark, for losing 5-2 to Neil Robertson in the final. This set the scene for two quarterfinals in China, in Shanghai Masters and the International Championship. And the runner-up world qualifies where he's on course to qualify until he missed the final bloom side with Peter Ebdon. That Regan Masters final helped him stay in the top 32 though. At 23, the fifth season in a row he'd ended, ranked between 22nd and 29th in the world. Impressive consistency for the most inconsistent person in the world. Another bonus fact, I just mentioned the two quarterfinals in China of Shanghai Masters International Championship. The small thing I didn't mention about them. In both of them, he beat Ronnie O'Sullivan in the last 16. This one's a new thing right now, though, as if you've been paying enough attention, you'll know the International Championship was the third time in 2016 Michael Holt beat Ronnie O'Sullivan, who he beat in the World Grand Prix back in March. Which means in the space of 6 months, Holt beat Ronnie 3 times. And he's got a better nickname and everything. And Nottingham's probably nicer than Essex. I wouldn't know, I've never been to either. So now we've concluded that Michael Holt is better than Ronnie O'Sullivan in every conceivable way. Back to the video. After all this was a return to comfortable mediocrity next season in the top 32, reaching the last 16 in the Indian Open, losing to John Higgins again. And at Worlds, he beat Rory Ford of Malaysia 10-7, having been 4-0 down, and then Elliot Slater 10-7, before reversing to type, going 7-0 down against Ron Milkins in the last qualifying round, losing 10-3. At least it wasn't a collapse. Kind of. The season after, he reached the second ranking final of Snooker Shootout. Don't shout at me, shootout deniers, I'm talking factually. Also, I quite like the shootout. One reason that you're about to find out not too long time. In the only snooker format which is quicker when you're in bed, I'm sorry, I couldn't think of another analogy. I tried for days. I'm very tired. I've been writing this script for over a week. He beat Zhou Yulong, Andy Hicks, Barry Pinches in a match where they managed to score 20 points in 10 minutes. Get on with it, guys. We have lives to live. Ryan Davis, a 16-year-old from Oldham who nobody had ever heard of before then, and is now one of the top amateurs in England. Lee Hang and Michael White, before playing one shot in the final against Tepchire Nu, marking the last time a tie player was ever consistent for an entire match. The following year, Michael did what everyone had long since given up on him actually managing to do, and won something. Jeez, it took long enough. He won the shootout by checks notes. Yeah, only getting through round 1 after his opponent, Amina Mary, committed 2 shootout fouls because rules presumably were not translated into Moroccan. Yes, I know they speak Arabic in Morocco. I think they do anyway. But you're ruining the joke, pointing that out. Then beating Elliot Slester, Ian Burns, Joe Perry, Ben Wollaston, who's probably the hardest spelled name on the entire tour. I swear I get it wrong every single time. Yan Bingtao, and the final, Zhou Yulong. I remember watching the film being so delighted for Michael, having waited for so long and supported him for so long. He finally did something. Sometimes all you need is for luck to start pointing your way. Burns got his revenge at Worlds, though beating qualifying 6-3. The following season had a very strange start of Championship League, where he lost to 2 amateurs, Sean Maddox and Daniel Womersley, and beat the professional Jamie O'Neill in his group. So logically, O'Neill qualified, because of course he did. After that, he went on to do not a lot of them, being honest. He reached one last 16 at the Northern Ireland Open, where he led Dave Grace 3-0. I'll leave you to decide the rest. Ali Close involves in 4 frames in a row. At Worlds, he lost 6-3 to Jamie Jones, and then the wheel fell off. 221 to 22 survival battle was utter madness. There was a whole cacophony of household names fighting each other to stay on the tour, including Matthew Stevens, twice world finalist, former UK champion, my personal hero, Kurt Mafflin, world quarter finalist 2 years before, once split for Berto Snooker ball, Dominic Dale, everyone's favourite non-Welsh Welshman, was famed from world semi-finals once. And yes, our good friend Michael Holt. For the record, Holt started seen 31st in the world. It started solidly, going unbeaten Championship League with winning 2 draws. He then won't win a match until the UK Championship nearly 4 months later. Then he beat Zach Shorty before losing his side to Andy Hicks. At the German Masters, he lost 5-2 to John Astley. I remember the name John Astley, it comes important to our story a bit later on. After a trademark implosion of European Masters qualifiers, winning 5-4 to Uyeza, having been 3-0 up, and then last 64 lost to Ding Junhui of Welsh Open, where Ding pushed him for having the sheer goal to win the first frame by making 3 centuries in the next 4. He had his best run of Turkish Masters where he beat John Astley. No, he's not important yet. And then as Germany's Lucas Kleckers, and man with a name far cooler than yours and mine, before losing 5-0 to John Higgins again. Scoring 2 points in the last 3 frames. At Gibraltar Open, he faced Astley again and lost 4-3, meaning he needed 1 win at least at World Qualifiers to stay on tour. At those qualifiers, he produced a fantastic performance to beat Hammond Mir 6-1, and then had an excellent battle with a very, very fine player in Tom Ford, but couldn't last the pace and lost 6-3 from 3 each, leaving him hanging in balance. Sadly, wins for Lou Hausstein and Jamie Clark in 3rd qualifying round proves to be the lethal injection for Holt's hopes, and he'd end the season 65th, agonisingly £3,500 behind Stuart Carrington 64. Even worse, he is sick from 1-year ranking list cards. £7,000 off the last tour card, thereby being relegated to Q School. But it's Michael Holt, he'll thrive in Q School, right? Right. Sadly, Q School's a cruel beast that cares not for sentiment, nor longevity, nor status, nor cool nicknames, because let's be real, who wouldn't want to be nicknamed the Hitman? He's 1 frame away from returning to a sort of last Q School event that year, before losing to, remembered the name, John Astley. That's why he's important in the story. Well, technically, but for the 2 losses to Astley and he would have stayed on tour anyway, but that's neither here nor there, technicalities and all that. So, Michael Holt, the amateur. Don't sound right, does it? But you know, onwards and yeah, this doesn't feel appropriate awesome, does it? Despite being an amateur, the plenty of players to withdraw from ranking events for no apparent reason, so he continues to get the opportunity to play professional events. At the 2023 Snooker Shootout, he made a run to quarters, his first last stage appearance since the World Open over 3 years before. A 1-1-6 break against Leigh Pei Fan kicked off the run, then defeated Robbie McGuigan in Northern Ireland, then 91 break against Fan Zheng Yi, a shock win over Jack Krasowski, but the last 8 was where the run ended against another surprise package who I like, with an awesome nickname, Julien Leclerc, the Belgian Beast. Don't ask me why I put on that accent. At the World Qualifiers, he won an excellent match 10-8 against thrice Women's World Champion Ergon Yi, before losing another late night throw 10-9 to Oliver Lyons of Leeds. Yes, he is Peter's son before you ask. At Q School that summer, Holt would disappoint, losing early doors in event 1, and you can possibly believe it, our boy Michael, being the magical, majestic, infuriating nightmare that he is. He lost 4-3 in event 2, to veteran Alfie Burden. England led 3-0. But that's where the game changed for Michael. Start of the next season, he beat Alfie Burden alongside Scott Donaldson to reach semi-final group of Championship League, where he went unbeaten and finished second in his group, right behind Zhao Guodong. He also had to decide a great match of the UK Championship against Marco Fu. But this season, his real journey has been the Q Tour. So, for those not familiar, and I'm going to make a video on this at some time, the Q Tour is a secondary tour designed to give amateur players a consistent opportunity to play each other and earn a tour card by mimicking the professional tour setup to help them be best prepared for a tour. At least I presume that's why. Holt entered against some pre-season but failed to progress beyond the last 32 in any. This time was different though. After skipping the first event, I believe to go on holiday, he conceded 4 frames in 5 matches in the second event, culminating in a 5-2 win over first event winner and future episode of this, Liam Davis. He would continue doing well in event 3, losing a side in the quarterfinals to Hamim Hussein, but his stumbling block in event 4, losing the last 32 to a very unfancy Tom Maxfield. They seemed to light a fire under our boy Michael though. In event 5, only veteran Barry Pinches took more than 1 frame off him, losing 4-3 in a scrappy encounter. And a 5-4 victory in event 6's finale against Alfie Davis gave him an unassailable lead at the top of the standings with 1 event left. That's where our story ends for now, but now he's back on tour. Will Michael be able to recapture the magic? My verdict for his chances on tour: Michael made the Q-Talk very easy this season for the most part. I showed him Championship League he's not afraid of some of the top players in the game. I don't think he'll be winning events by any means, but if he can truly kick the habit of throwing away big leads, I think he'll easily re-establish himself on tour. He may be 45 now, but future is bright for Hitman.